One was killed and another taken into custody after the shooting just before 10 o'clock this morning. Amid the chaos, anxious parents lined up earlier today hoping to reunite with their kids. Just an agonizing scene.
We do have live team coverage tracking this latest on this tragedy. AJ Janival is at Ingraham High School. Matt Smith is at a neighborhood just north of the school. But first, let's go to Steve Kiggins. You were there when the mayor and the chief of police released new details about the shooting. So what is the latest on this?
Hannah Bryan, SPD Chief Adrian Diaz says this shooting triggered a response from every officer on the beat today to respond there to Ingraham High School. He actually said the Harbor Patrol Unit is the group that actually made this arrest without incident. So around 10 o'clock, that's when SPD got this call to respond to that shooting in Ingraham, where they found a student shot inside a hallway. The victim did not survive. But an hour after that call, near North 145th in Aurora, SPD made an arrest with the help of King County Sheriff's Office. They said they pulled the shooting suspect off a rapid ride bus without any incident. Now, SPD says they recovered a firearm in the suspect's backpack, but could not at this point say if that was the firearm used in the shooting at the high school. Now, SPD, they are not able to share ages or names of the victim nor the suspect, and we still don't know if the suspect was also a student with Seattle Public Schools. Now, the public school district says they couldn't really tell us exactly what led up to the shooting. Neither could SPD, but the superintendent at public schools, they called this a targeted attack and did not believe a larger scale incident was at play.
We've suspended all activities for tomorrow and Thursday, and we'll give our adults, our teachers, our administrators, our school leaders an opportunity to get together and figure out how they can do the healing, how they can receive students and welcome them back to have a welcoming environment in light of what happened. Our collective hearts are broken as we think about the loss of one of our students. As a father, I can think of nothing worse than losing a child in this manner.
Now, Seattle Public Schools does not employ any school resource officers on any of their campuses. Seattle Police says the shooter was able to bring the firearm just about 100 feet into the building there at Ingraham. And the shooting where it happened in an area where there were multiple students and staff, and they all witnessed this horrific incident. Seattle Police Chief Diaz says the case is obviously still under investigation. There's a lot more questions that remain to find answers at this point. Now, Diaz joined Mayor Harrell and the school superintendent, saying that they're all working on steps to tackle what they call a gun problem in our city. Now, as police swooped in to identify the suspect and help out that student and secure the scene, parents were rushing to the school to figure out if their kids were okay and to figure out what happened. For more on that, we'll now go to AJ Janival.
Steve, throughout the day, it was a hectic scene here outside of Ingraham High School. The roads around the school packed with parents. Behind me at the school, those families waited for some people hours for their children to be released from the lockdown here at the school. Around 3:15, the police tape came down around the school, but the effects of this tragedy will last for a while. Emotions high outside of Ingraham High School Tuesday morning as families deal with a nightmare.
We heard the shots, which we didn't know were shots at the time.
Mom, 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 I'm very scared, there is shots, call the police, please, call the police.
Officers responded to shots fired inside the school district.
Seattle police tell us they got the call for shots inside the school just before 10. Police say teams entered the building within minutes of the initial 911 call and fought to save the victim's life on scene. Unfortunately, the student is dead. Police say they arrested someone just outside the school who had a gun inside their book bag.
I was really scared at the start, and because I didn't know what was happening.
Tomas Barr tells us he was in class when the school went into lockdown. He says he started texting his mom about the incident.
Well, my life, I mean, he's my son. It's, I would die for him. So it's just, this is not right.
Sofia Zubaria says she couldn't breathe until she got answers.
The real sigh of relief was when the suspect was caught and when the police was here, and I knew that it wasn't a mass shooting.
However, for some students, waiting for answers took far too long.
Upsetting it is that teachers get the information and the students are just left in the dark, right? Like we hear the announcement that we're in lockdown, and then after that it's just nothing for an hour.
Amareno Fennell is a senior. He tells Fox 13 News the victim of the shooting is someone he has spent years going to school with.
He was really easygoing. Anyone who spoke with him, he thought I don't know. I went to middle school with him. He was friendly with everyone, right? Easy to talk to. Like, I don't know. It's upsetting.
Vanel tells us he and his classmates should not be in this situation.
There's nothing's being done. Nothing's being done to prevent we can't react to a shooting like this after the fact. Like, stuff has to be done preemptively to prevent it from happening.
School officials say there will be no class tomorrow. They also say they're offering resources for any students or family who need help. Now, you heard Steve mentioning earlier that this scene extended throughout the area. Fox 13 News reporter Matthew Smith is at another location connected to this shooting where SWAT responded. And Matthew, you tell us that the neighbors in this area were terrified today.
Oh, absolutely, and for good reason, AJ. The information trickling in and the proximity to the school, the reality that this was happening right after those push alerts started going out from our news agency about the fact that there was a school shooting so close to this area. It all happened so fast, and not long after the word of the school shooting broke. So around 11:30, this typical quiet neighborhood here near the shoreline Seattle border all of a sudden became a zoo. Now, we were here shortly after it all started. Take a look. You can see guns drawn. This SWAT officer hiding behind a shield, parked in front of a home that seemingly is tied to the suspect that is in custody tonight. Neighbors telling me they called the woman who lives inside this home, and this is what she said.
When I called, she said she's around. She came from work or somewhere. She's in the house area. I said, what's going on? And she said there is some shooting on the area. They want to ask her grandson some questions.
And with that out of the way, she had to worry about everyone inside of her home, which actually doubles as a business, people living inside, adults. So they were asked by police to shelter in place, making sure they moved to the other side of the home to make sure they weren't in the way if anything went sideways. It seems to be that there was nobody inside the home connected with this. We never saw anybody taken out of the house into custody. We're still working to figure out and ensure that this is, in fact, the home of the suspect back up this hill here. Now, as quickly as it all began, though, it all wrapped up shortly after 2 o'clock. There's this flurry of activity, and police just left no announcement, no indication to any of the neighbors that anything had just happened here. Now, we did try to speak with the people that live inside the home, because there are some people that are back inside there tonight. They waved me off. They didn't want to talk about this situation. We did hear, though, earlier in the day, Chief Diaz talked about how the SWAT team was out at a home that was linked to the suspect. We're still trying to connect all these pieces here, but the family, for obvious reasons, not talking tonight. We're going to try to find out more information about the suspect, this teen, and we'll continue to update you here and, of course, at fox13seattle.com as we learn more. We're live in Seattle. Matthew Smith, Fox 13 News.